second. Okay, it's live. Go ahead, Andre.
So, just for the record, it is Wednesday, 21st of January, and we're in a Scrum meeting. In the OSRA Scrum, I'm the first to go, and I don't really have much to report. I only can tell you that I tried the method for the filters for the filters for the city for the orphan, right? The active admin maintainer suggested, and it didn't quite work. I think that the maintainer, when he suggested his method, he didn't quite realize what I was asking about. And then when he did, when I described the problem in more detail, he said that, well, again, you need to go to ransack and start fiddling out with ransack. And he can't really help me with that because that's not his field of expertise. So in theory, it's possible. In practice, I think we'll go with your method, Craig, and just create a text field.
Okay. Well, we come back to that in a second. Christine, do you want to go?
You said alphabetical.
Oh, it's yeah.
Okay, so I did OSRA 334 about the sponsorship show controller and use. That was merged by Craig. Then I did 336, the edit and update actions and views for the sponsor. I'm having a few issues with that, and planning to do the new and create after. That's about it for now.
So what's your current status? You're having some issues with that, or you've solved the issues?
I have some problems with the updating. Actually, with the countries list, that's some countries are missing translations, and also I think the even bigger problem is I don't know why the Norway translation is not working, and it looks. Well, I think it's the first one.
You'll be able to lose days troubleshooting that, I would guess.
It makes no sense because everything is the same as every other country, and I don't know why Norway is not translating. Its initials is NO, and the translation is good. It's the same as the others. I tried messing with it, like trying to do some...
Is it possible that the word NO is regarded as no? And
I don't know.
Producing a translation there?
I don't think so.
What about white space? Is there any hidden white space or anything?
Doesn't look like it. I tried. I even removed the no Norway, and I renamed another country and added no there, and it wasn't working. So I really don't know what to do.
What actually shows up in the text box for the English? Is it Norway or NO that shows up in the actual drop-down box?
It's Norway, NO.
But what
in the country's gem, you say?
Oh, okay. I'm just wondering whether it's. Oh, you do the translate on the NO. I mean, it may be what.
Let's see. So here is Norway. It's exactly the same as the others. I tried to remove this and replace this with no, and it didn't work. Then I tried to replace this with this, and didn't work. And there are no spaces around there, or hidden. I don't know.
And you need to rely on some kind of gem for that? You cannot change arbitrarily the code?
The gem is only to get the list of the countries. It has and it creates the selection box in the HTML, and it has these acronyms, and it has the name of the country, full name of the country. So that's what I get from the gem. And this YAML file is only for the translation, and we are using the internationalization translation from Rails. So
and at the risk of sounding really patronizing, that's definitely an O and not a 0, is it?
yes, if it's a 0, you can see it has a dot in the middle.
Oh, okay.
That was my first thing I tried. I thought, but no.
I'm just curious, is there any way at all to change the NO to any other abbreviation?
If I change this to another something else, like I remove the NP and change this to MP, it works fine.
Yeah, I was just wondering, is it possible to create a custom acronym for?
Oh yeah, sure.
Like to say NW.
Yeah, I don't know if I tried that or not.
Or do you rely? Do you need to make the gem aware that now your acronym has changed?
I only need to make the 18n dot t work with no, like this. So I need this one is returning missing translation.
Interesting.
So if I no, I don't think I tried to rename this and then try this.
Yeah, I would think that
it should work.
Yeah. So is it just possible to change the acronym here in this file and then to run the internationalization? You don't need the gem for anything?
Well, for this line, no, you don't.
You don't?
No.
Try changing the letter then.
Yeah, but if I change the letter, it's the same as this one.
Guys, hang on.
What was that?
On that link, you go to some Google Translate, and basically you cannot translate certain things because they're
like no.
Yes, no, on or off.
Yes, so that's
Why do you can't translate no?
Because they're reserved.
It's a magic word. It's a magic word.
Really? Okay.
So basically, the only reasonable approach would be to change this to NR or NW.
Then I have to figure out how to change it in the which one? In the English R, how is it called, method? This one here. Helpers function. This one. This one here is doing the translation. So I do an if no. So I do an.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. We've got something for you to ponder on here, Brian.
I had an emergency hangout I had to jump on right at 2 o'clock that I didn't know about. So, but I'm here now.
So when was 2 o'clock?
Oh, I'm sorry, 20 o'clock.
Okay.
If you look in the group chat, Brian, there's a link.
There is. It must not have been there when I joined.
Oh, okay. Does it work like that?
So this should work instead of no. So if it's no, then it will jump to NR.
But isn't the problem occurring with internationalization module?
Yeah.
Yes, but this one is doing the internationalization. This is the method that we're using to translate.
If
And so
country
if
is
this country
okay.
that we're
Okay.
actually this one.
So the problem that we're having is that when they're trying to translate Norway, it's not translating, and it's because you can't have no in a YAML file.
Oh, you can't have no in a YAML file.
I think it's a YAML. That's what they're saying on this.
Yes, it's YAML, yeah.
So the problem is not with the internationalization, it's the problem with the YAML?
It seems to be more with the YAML file. Language, because, where is it? There's also this.
I think we should go ahead with the Scrum and come back to this.
Yeah. Okay. So Brian, do you want to go?
That thing you were talking about looks like a bug in a gem, but yeah, I'll go. Where was I? I was just getting started on 360, create navbar links when I had something come up. But I think I should work on that for a few hours here, hopefully. I did fix up. User show. I did the code review, but I also changed how the partial was rendering to be more in convention over configuration mode as far as naming it. And I think that's all right now.
So I haven't done much code writing today. I've done some code review and I've merged the PR. And that's me. But coming back to Andre's comment about
the filter?
Yeah, the filters. If we look at GitHub, I've issued a pull request. Can you see my screen here?
Yep. Can you make the
sorry.
font a little bit lighter? Yeah, thanks.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's fine, thanks.
So I have a solution here, and this actually creates a select box of unique cities.
Orphan distinct plan. So you're doing select. Sort alphabetically. What is the C, C in the array?
So basically, in a select statement, you need two arrays, an array of two values, and those two values are normally the ID and the country. But of course, we don't want the ID. We want to select on country. So both the value that you pass to Rails to search on and the value that you're showing in the drop-down box are going to be the same. So that basically takes the country, the city, and maps it to an array of city, city, so that whatever you're clicking on the select box is what's passed.
So they will be identical. They will be. The question is then, since I don't quite understand how the filters work, will they be able to find the orphans then?
I believe. I mean, yes. Yes, it does. It filters the.
So they don't really need the IDs to find the addresses and then to somehow figure out the orphans. They are quite fine with.
No, because that filter is searching for cities in the original address relationship.
Because I thought it was possible for the collection not even to supply two two variables in the array. You could potentially supply just one variable, no?
I didn't try actually, because selects normally, whenever I've been dealing with the selects, I can try that. certainly
Is
later on.
it? Do you know any Git magic that can show you what the original code or the history of the file orphan.rb in admin, so that we can see the previous filter? I think we had also pluck, and it was just the
Well,
name of.
your original, the filter before this was.
No, not before mine. But I changed mine for. I think you had something even before that. Or was it in the sponsor? I remember I inherited this file from your task, but I don't remember whether you did anything on the orphan RB.
That's what. So that looks like that's the first time that filter was added. On
Was
the
this me?
22nd of December.
Okay. Okay. Original address province, which was removed. Okay. Yeah, okay, so it was using two things. Can you briefly look in the sponsor model then? Or rather not the model, but the ActiveAdmin thing. So here we right, pluck, select collection, pluck city. So the filter city, line 11, it does not use an associated.
But I think it's doing that because it's putting two values in the pluck, isn't it? So
just one? No, not line 8, line 11.
Okay. No, there. I shall try that later and see what we get.
I think I tried that and saw that it didn't work, but it didn't work for the associated models. Like when you are in the sponsor but asking for the address and trying to pluck something from. But it didn't work for me. It doesn't mean that it won't work for you. Maybe it will. So then I thought that perhaps you need the ID for the association to work. But it turns out.
Now the ID is going to limit you to one orphan, isn't it? Always.
To one address at least.
Yes. Well, no.
If we were plucking when we are saying on line 8, no, bad example. When we are saying on line 6, status pluck name and ID, we are plucking an ID of status. So by the same analogy, when we are saying address pluck city and ID, we were plucking the ID of address. So
Yes, but it's the address of one city in the database field, isn't it? So it'll link to just one orphan.
Yes, that's true. Yes.
So, and I think that's where we were going wrong. So now, because we're searching on the actual value in the city, it's returning all associations where that city exists in the address field. If that makes sense.
Do you have this code on your local machine? The one that you.
Not on this machine, no.
Not on this machine. Okay. Because it's very curious if it would work.
It does work.
It does work.
And if you guys want to chat about what you're doing next, I can set it up on another machine and join in and show you it.
Okay. So any ideas what we're doing next?
So I guess that's planning for the.
Oh, is it done? Can I stop the recording?
Planning, don't you want to record that as well?
Oh, that's it. Ah, sorry. So, planning. Well, the plan is to move on with the Rails, right?
Yeah.
Step by step.
If people can see the screen now, all I've done is pulled in everything that wasn't finished at the end of the last scrum. So I
Yes.
think it's a case of people working out how much time they think they're going to have over the coming sprint, and picking stories based on that and assigning it to themselves.
So the list that you're showing now, are these the stories or the tasks in the current sprint or the ones that remained?
So everything you see there down to the backlog,
Yep.
they were in the sprint, I believe, the last sprint, but weren't completed.
Okay.
So
Have we officially started the next sprint?
Yes, we started it yesterday. I closed sprint 9 down and started it, but I didn't actually do anything other than just close the sprint, start a new sprint, and drag all the tasks that hadn't been finished back into the new sprint. So those tasks that you see there, I believe they were in the last sprint, but just not completed.
So where does the current sprint end? Is it just the line just above the backlog?
Yes.
Okay.
The OSRA 361 is the last story in that. So I'm not sure we actually need to add anything to this sprint at the moment. I don't know what other people's thoughts are, but it seems like we're going to be fairly busy with 288, 327, and 328.
Yeah, it looks good to me, unless there's something necessary for the client, something urgent from him.
So I mean, if we get that from the client or anything's identified at the client meeting, we can pull stuff in.
Yeah.
But I think as it stands, that's probably
okay. Cool.
Fine. Are people happy with that, or does anybody want Brian?
Yep. I'm sorry, I was working on something. What was the question?
Are you happy with the status of the sprint at the moment and what's in it and what's not in it?
Let me look at it again. There was one thing that I thought was not in it. Waiting on internet. 372. Do we want to do that?
372.
And 370.
There's 372.
Do we want to tackle those or not?
Public
is the intermittent failures, or are you talking about?
The story is checked for those because I'm not even sure any more exist. We may have fixed them, but I suspect that there are some more.
You mean where we click all? Is that
no? If you click on that story, there's a link. If you go to the link, it shows you exactly. You have to click outside the box first. Yeah, and then click on the link. That was causing an intermittent failure that just showed up every blue moon. Because Factory Girl would put like an apostrophe or something in a random value somewhere, and then the specs would fail.
Oh, for the CGI escape?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had the same problem. I had to CGI escape stuff in the partners because...
Yeah, your PR is where I got the fix from.
Yeah.
So since we've had to fix that twice now, I just put a story in to go see if that was a problem anywhere else that we haven't noticed yet, because it hasn't failed. I don't know. There may not be anything, but I doubt that. There probably is. It wasn't in the scope of what I was working on at the time to look through the whole project and fix any of those that might be laying around.
Agreed. It's things like apostrophes, isn't it, in the fake gem? It's just...
The one I saw was an apostrophe. Whether there can be anything else, I'm not sure, but I know that for sure is at least one of them, yeah. It was something O'Reilly or something, and it was O apostrophe. Something like that. Actually, I might be able to pull it up here. Let me turn my screen share on carefully.
Hmm.
Hang on a second. Okay.
What is that?
There was... Was that in this one, I think?
While you're going through that, Brian, I'm just going to disappear for a couple of minutes to see if I can get that other computer rigged up.
Okay, here it is. I just found it. This.
O'Reilly.
Yep, and it was looking for this,
Uh-huh.
but it found this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the story is just to check for any of that nonsense. Because I was not even aware that that was happening until this failure happened. And then I ran it again and it passed, and I really started looking into it. But yeah, that's what it's about. You guys want to do that in this sprint or not?
Can you show the code that does this to the apostrophe?
The code? For
Yeah,
what?
with the CGI, why exactly did you need it in there? Or what exactly was the purpose of it? Yeah. Expect render to match.
Hey, hang on a second. I'll be back.
Okay, everybody's
Okay, I'm
leaving.
back. I'm sorry. I had to.
Why do you need to escape it?
Because it's looking in the rendered page for that, and the actual attribute in the database is not HTML escaped. So when it's looking for that string from the database in the HTML page, if there's any characters in it that need escaping, it's not going to find it. And I suspect that if there's any Arabic, it would probably hit this every time too. That's another reason I thought it was more important for this project.
Right.
So that's, yeah, I put a story in for it because it wasn't in the scope of what I was doing, but this fixed it for this story that I was working on. And
But
Craig had another one that he fixed the same way.
why do you need to eval everything?
That's not totally relevant. you can look at this one. It's the same thing.
Yeah, but still, why do you need to eval that?
So you've got one authoritative list of the attributes that you want shown in the view right here, instead of making a different example for each one.
Yeah.
So you could just put an attribute in this list, and
Ah,
then
yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah. I understand. Yeah, yeah. Nah,
yeah.
nice, nice, clever. I see. Cool. So metaprogramming.
You know what? It's Ruby.
Well, yeah, Ruby.
Embrace it. I wonder if Craig's coming back.
Yeah, I'm just back now.
Oh.
I'm just going to try and join this hangout on another PC.
So when you are rendering something on the HTML page, Rails will escape all these strange characters, non-ASCII characters.
Yeah, anything that needs to be escaped for it to be legitimate HTML.
Yeah. I think it's beyond non-ASCII characters. Even a bunch of the ASCII characters get escaped.
And when the Rails gets back a form from the front end, will it also do the back escaping? Like
I believe it also has to escape it and unescape it to pass it through the URL as a parameter, yes. But I think it does that for you on both ends.
yeah.
I don't think you have to worry about that so much. But in the test,
So only the tests are the problem here.
yeah, there was no functional problem.
Yeah.
So the lines that you were showing us, I'm still confused. The lines of code that you were showing us, were they causing the problem or were they the solution to the problem?
No, this is the solution.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
The cause was Factory Girl putting characters in the sham data that needed escaping.
Sure. Sure.
With this project being tied to Arabic,
Mhm.
and it's possible that Arabic might show up in a lot of this stuff, I think it's even more important. Who knows what happens when we tell Factory Girl to start doing that? I don't even want to think about that right now.
And we never had these kind of errors when we used Cucumber?
Well, you use
Cucumber would have thrown the same error, I think. I think it's just the luck of the draw that this is an extremely intermittent thing.
Can people see my screen on the...
Yes, orphans.
Yeah. So if we have a look at this and scroll down to the bottom, you can see we've got 2003 orphans.
Cool. Wow.
Is that the production?
It's not.
It's localhost.
Oh.
But
Or
then
is it a clone?
so we come to the city of origin. Now
Yeah.
each of these orphans have a city, obviously.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And nothing happens on the screen.
Oh. Let's try again.
That's wrong.
Let me try and share the screen again. I don't know why.
Oh, I think you have to share the entire desktop, not only the window.
Wow.
I'm not sure.
For the drop down to work? Wow.
Nick's had this problem before, hasn't he?
Yeah, he did,
Yeah.
yes.
Nope. Yeah, working. Yeah. Okay. So, what's that, London?
So if we pick one of these,
Mm-hmm.
Was that a dog?
And so it's filtered out 50 page.
What was that? 50 pages? 50 pages?
No, 50 orphans. I
Oh,
think.
50 orphans. Yeah, okay. So that works.
So it seems to do what we want to think.
Can you click on the orphans and just to make sure that?
So you mean okay? So you.
Oh, do we have the city out or the original address outputted somewhere?
The original address must go.
Cool. Seems to work. Wow. Yeah. Very cool.
Let's just pick another one.
Yeah, pick another one. How many pages?
That's 100. So
100.
30 of
100 pages?
No, sorry, 4 pages, but.
4 pages, 100 orphans. Yeah, okay, cool. Cool. Geneva. You were filtering for Geneva?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Wow.
And with all the eager loading that I've done on the page and everything, we're seeing roughly a 3x speed gain on the actual render of the page before the assets get downloaded.
Eager loading of all these cities?
No, the associations for the sponsor. And conditional. So we've got a lot of callbacks that set default values, and they were being called whether the record was new or not.
Mm-hmm.
So let me just show you on my other screen because it's probably easier. So we set default status to active while this creates a call to the database each time. So if you're rendering 60 records, you are having 60 calls to the database.
Mm-hmm.
Now it only sets a default value if it's a new record, and obviously they're not new records on a listing on an index page, so none of those calls were being made to the database. Now that was happening for that and for the default sponsorship status and for the default orphan status. So if we're rendering 30 records in an index page, we were making a call to active record for the information, and then additional calls to active record to fill in all the associations, and then 90 calls to active record because each record made 3 calls to set up these default values.
So when you loaded,
if someone's in, because this hasn't been merged, if someone goes to their develop branch now and looks at the Rails console and goes to the index page, you'll see all the active record calls whiz past you, but there's a significant amount, and now we're down to, I think, a handful of active record calls to make to render that page.
so you did not, well, obviously you didn't, but so the problem was not solved by doing include
Yeah, that's part of the problem, because we were having additional calls. That stops. Rather than call the list of partners and then call back to the database for each of the associations, that was also happening. So that's what the default scope does, and basically everything gets pulled down as the first single query.
Okay.
So we kind of got our cake and eat it for this one. I think we got faster render, and we've still got the drop down box that everyone wanted.
Okay. So this, what you're showing, it's on the GitHub now, right? It hasn't been merged. Okay.
No.
I need to look at it and think about it, because I don't really understand what's going on. I'm just wondering how you prevented the models from calling on their associations.
Okay, so when you make you want to render your orphan page, and what active record ordinarily does